After one of the worst music performances that you'll ever see on WWE NXT, Booker T has came to the aid of Paul Levesque, Triple H. Welcome back to Fog Wrestling. But I say he's came to the aid of him. Technically, this article's just about black male wrestlers, because if you look across the board, it seems like Triple H and Shawn Michaels recently have developed a fetish for black female wrestlers. So, I mean, that is up for debate about what is going on there. But, the inclusion of Sexy Red, the pummeling down our throat of Jade Gargle, Naomi, and Bianca Belair at Bad Blood would suggest that. But, yeah, making. He was making some comments here because, of course, MVP, who's now made his way over to AEW, he made comments about Triple H in June. One fan claimed on Instagram that the Triple H era is emasculating black men, and MVP responded with, "You see it." End the quote there for MVP. I mean, right. I would agree that it's emasculating men because, if you look at it, it's pathetic. Men have to look weak, men have to look inferior to women. It's, the Judgment Day stuff is just repeating the same old shite. It just is where, Rhea Ripley comes down and the men get battered and they're not allowed to fight back. But if you notice, WWE's careful with it, right? You would never see Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns put in that situation where they have to get buried by a woman. No, it's always reserved for the likes of JD Madonna, Dominic Mysterio, and whatever other jobbers are floating about nearby. But during this podcast, WWE Hall of Famer, NXT commentator Booker T was asked about this. This is what he said. And I quote, "I don't think it's any bias at all. I don't think it's looked at that way for Triple H. Me personally, I don't. Just because I'm there on a weekly basis. I know what the show needs to actually thrive and get to the next level. Has there been bias in the wrestling business before? Yes, there has. Are angles perhaps touchy? Yes, I've been a part of them, but I do think it's race related or anything like that, or someone being belittled on purpose. I saw something that there hadn't been any black guys on premium live events in the last 3 months. Then I'm going to say, okay, what guys are we talking about when we say they should be on the pay per view? Are there any angles that weren't a reason for being on the pay per view? I'm just saying because this thing goes and ebbs and flows." End of quote. Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? You've got to book people strong in order to get them on pay per views, but I mean, you you look at WWE, right? In the past couple of months, who who can honestly make a claim as a black wrestler to be main eventing or to be getting on a pay per view? I mean, maybe the New Day. I think the New Day's been all right. Um, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, I think have actually been part of some of the best stuff that we've seen on Raw recently. Honestly, Xavier Woods becoming the Raw MVP, but is it enough to get on a pay per view? I mean, when you see some of the matches on pay per views, probably. Now he went on to say, and I quote, "One thing about this business, it's just a fact. There's more white guys in it than there are black guys and girls. It just is. It's always been that way. I never look at should someone just be on the show. I look at whether their talent warrants them being on the show, and as well, are they in an angle right now? Sometimes you want to see me, but I might want to be off." End of quote. Well, I mean, I agree with Booker T, right? I think they're just making a mountain out of a molehill with this because when you actually break it down, no one complains about American football or NBA being predominantly black players, right? So what is the big deal here? Like what are we actually crying about? It's pathetic. You know what I mean? Just we have an industry here. Well, I guess then you could argue. I mean, this is predetermined, right? It's not real. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble. Oh no, Haku's going to be at the door coming for Fog Wrestling. It's predetermined, so you can push who you want. But the reality is, you have to have something about you. But wrestling recently fucking sucks. You know what I mean? And they've pushed a lot of people that we disagree with. So in that element, it's like you could push a lot of black people. I mean, you look at Carmelo Hayes. I see no reason why he couldn't have been on a pay per view. I see Trick Williams. It's like, right, he won the NXT title back, but I think it's probably about time that he got called up to the main roster. There's always going to be these questions floating about in WWE, but Triple H, I think he's racist. No, I think he's just a fucking mark that likes the flippy dippy guys, and the majority of them are white.